Helen Yee here in San Jose, being joined by the one and only Mr. Josh Thomson. Now, first off, happy early birthday, September 21st, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I am getting old. Thanks for rubbing that in. I appreciate that.
No, not old at all. Well, you will be celebrating it here. Bellator 266 going down tomorrow night. Yoel Romero, his anticipated Bellator debut, but he's going to be the underdog. Did that kind of surprise you at all?
No, not at all. He's been inactive for a while. He's also making the jump to 205. Phil Davis has been successful at 205. He's had, if you look at Phil Davis's losses, they've only been to some of the top guys in the world. Yoel Romero coming into a new promotion. I've said this to everyone. Every time a new fighter comes into a new organization, doesn't matter which organization it is, it's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings that they're having to deal with. When they have to deal with that, it's hard to perform at the level that you feel like you're capable of to go out there and put on a great show. Phil Davis, this is his home. He's been here several times, been the former champion here. He understands what it's like to fight here in San Jose. He knows the feeling. Yoel Romero does not have that feeling just yet for Bellator, but he will develop it real quick tomorrow night.
So what do you think the keys to victory are for Yoel to get that win and kind of make a statement, because we've seen kind of the landscape of the light heavyweight tournament?
Well, it's really going to come down to what Yoel we see. Is we're going to see the one that's explosive, the one that wrestles? Are we going to see the one that throws heavy punches? Are we going to see someone who's aggressive? Him being at 205, will he have more energy going in the second and the third round? Those are things that we really are interested in seeing. There's a lot of questions to be answered. Is he going to be the same guy at 185 where he struggled to make weight and his energy was zapped after a round and a half or after one movement or one explosive takedown? Is he going to be that same guy, or is he going to be at 205 someone who has a lot of energy, who can be aggressive for the full 3 rounds? He's someone that can use his wrestling because he won't tire out, not because he had a hard weight cut. That's what I think everyone should be focusing on. What Yoel Romero are we going to see? We know what we're going to see out of Phil Davis. He's someone who's going to try to stuff the takedowns, someone who's going to go ahead and let the hands go. He's going to mix it up a little bit, maybe wrestle here and there. I've been getting on him about trying to wrestle more. We're going to see if he uses any takedowns during this fight. But if he does that, if he can push Yoel Romero to the fact of like using his wrestling and make him wrestle to an uncomfortable type pace, I think he'll have a chance to be successful. Yoel's just got to make sure that he controls the pace of the fight so he can fight it at the pace that he feels comfortable for his first fight in Bellator.
Absolutely. And speaking of Bellator and some returns, Kyoji Horiguchi, he'll be making his return. Who do you think makes sense for him, and also him being the former Bellator bantamweight champion?
Well, he left because he had a knee injury. He was the champion at the time, so I think there's no question who he should fight. He should fight Pettis. Yeah. There's no question. There shouldn't even be a conversation. Now, I do know there's been a lot of buzz about this bantamweight tournament. I would like to see this fight happen before the bantamweight tournament starts, only based on if it does start. That's, I mean, there's still to be out there. But I mean, obviously, I would love to see this tournament happen, but I also would like to see both of them in the tournament. So I would like to see this fight happen beforehand. But I think there's no question on who he should fight. It should be Pettis.
And speaking of other returns, especially in the UFC, Nick Diaz, he'll be making his return against Robbie Lawler, a rematch that's slated 17 years later. How do you see that playing out?
Well, there's a lot to be said right now. I don't know if you guys have been buzzed on the internet, but there's some stuff going around. I don't know if he's going to make the fight, if he will make the fight, if what happened. But look, I hope he makes the fight. If he does make the fight, this should be a great fight.
Is this breaking news?
I don't know. You guys should let us know. But there's a video going around on social media right now that he may not be able to make the fight, of footage. So if you guys check that out, let us know what you guys think. Look, I hope he's okay. I hope he's able to make the fight. But if it does happen, this has been one of the most exciting fights that I've been anticipating for the longest time. Every time I had heard that he was going to come back out, that he was going to come out of retirement, he was going to fight, or he was going to get back in the cage, the only fight that I really cared to watch him fight was going to be either George Masvidal or Robbie Lawler, because I would love to see those guys mix it up.
Well, looking at the main event, it is Brian Ortega versus Alex Volkanovski. Who do you think has the advantage going into the fight?
Wow. You know, look, I always overlook Volkanovski, and for some reason I shouldn't do that. But I also look at all the qualities that Ortega has. Brian Ortega is dangerous on the ground. He's got long reach. He doesn't really have fast hands, but he's got a great chin. He's also got good striking. It's gotten a lot better. He's also learned how to fight composed, not just try to walk people down. After the Max Holloway fight, I think he took that plenty of time off to really regroup, regenerate who he was as a fighter, and we saw that against Korean Zombie, and then now we're going to see him perform against Volkanovski. Can he if he does get taken down, his submissions are nasty. On the feet, he possesses power. He's got a great chin, and he also now has learned how to be patient and not just blow his wad in striking. So I think he's got a great chance of beating Volk. But look, I keep saying Volkanovski's going to lose, and he keeps winning. So I just got to keep my mouth shut when it comes to him.
Well, someone that you do know very well, Luke Rockhold, he'll be fighting Sean Strickland. What are your expectations for his return?
I have very high expectations for him because him and I have had several conversations through texting and back and forth over the phone every once in a while here. But it really just comes down to the fact that if he utilizes any type of his grappling, he wins this fight easily. If he mixes up the grappling with his striking, he still wins this fight easily. He just got to make sure that it doesn't just stay on the feet. He needs to make this an MMA fight because I don't think there's a lot of guys at 185. I don't care in the current situation that I see in that division for him. There's not a lot of guys that can beat him at 185, especially if it hits the ground.
And lastly, a lot of people love hearing your stories, in particular your stories at AKA and about Khabib. What's your favorite Khabib story that the fans may not know yet?
So I believe it was his 25th birthday. His birthday is the day before mine. I believe his is on the 20th and mine's on the 21st. But we were in Chicago. I believe I was cornering him for the Pat Healy fight. I think it was what it was. For one of the fights that I was cornering him for. But I showed up and the restaurant was I can't pronounce it. I don't know what kind of food it was, but it was more like
good food though.
It was very good. It was more like kebabs and hot bread. It was really good. It was more like Mediterranean type food. So but it was phenomenal, and they had brought him out a cake because they knew who he was, and he was from Dagestan. They knew, so they brought him out like some dessert. And they were singing him happy birthday, and he had heard that it was my birthday. And so what he did was he had the whole restaurant sing me my happy birthday song as well. So in terms of as a person, that was one of those moments where that was actually, I think, one of the first times I had cornered him, if it was the first time, I think. And we just, from then on, we kind of bonded and became friends. And that was kind of the moment that I realized that I really, really enjoyed not just training with him, but being around him as an individual and as a person. But that's probably one of my favorite stories.
Oh, absolutely. And happy early birthday. I'm not going to sing it for you because I can't sing, but I'm sure the fans will when they see you. And what would you like to let the fans know who can't wait to tune in to Bellator tomorrow night?
I mean, there's a lot of fights that are on this card that people should be interested in. Is the Saul Rogers and Georgia Karahanian fight. That fight should be an explosive fight. Polizzi is fighting Neil Grant. That's going to be another great fight. Those two fights in themselves, I think, are going to steal the car. But Deanna Bennett and Alejandro Lara should be a fun fight as well. The two of them are going to be like two little ferrets getting after on the ground. They're going to be just scrambling and working hard. And they're both very good in the submission department as well as the ground and pound department. So that should be a fun fight. There's a stacked main card, and I'm looking forward to it. Maybe a lot of people either know them or they don't know them. But I'm telling you right now, if you guys tune in, you guys will not be disappointed.